It's about family. You know, I feel like everybody here is a big family reunion. And it's about perseverance and sticking with each other. There's not a Rusty team, a Cammy team, or whoever team. If you want to create solvency in our opportunity, we have to come together as one unit. This is not a competition, this is a journey. I've been retired for almost 11 years. I live a pretty nice lifestyle, and I enjoy my freedom. So how do you get there? You make a commitment to yourself, but you have to make a stronger commitment to your organization. I'm committed to Mark, period. I used to call him my rich dad. He said, I don't really like that. Only because you're a rich brother. Because it makes me feel older. So, you know, I told Mark when we met at the photographers, it was Pam, him, myself. There was three of us at the first meeting. And when we got through there, we really didn't know if we were going to make it. Really. Because when they flipped my website on, I looked at it, so I went to the wrong site. I thought they had some children in kindergarten put it up. And we really didn't have any materials. We had napkins and ink pens. But when I looked in Mark's eyes, and he made a commitment to me, and I made one back, I said, back to back, if you never see me again, we're going to go make this thing happen. And Pam and I made a pact. We created a system. Before all this stuff we had to create systems with was in play, and we're just going to get out and roll our sleeves up and go to work. So when we launched, we started the very first day, we were very proactive with it. She and I worked 18, 20 hours a day, working the time zones, 7 days a week for the next 28 consecutive days. Out of that, laid a foundation for a pretty strong business. There was about, 635 people. We became double diamonds in 28 days, and the checks were somewhere around $10,000. That's not a bad first month. Can you do that?
Woo!
Yeah. Will you? Probably not.
Nope. There's some people will.
What I did is, when I made up my mind to do this after 7.5 months of talking to Mark, listening to Mark, and watching him and seeing if he's going to tell me something that didn't ring true from what he initially told me, I knew this is where I needed to be. Because I always have enjoyed my freedom. Free is not free, and the freedom we enjoy today ain't free. You got somebody fighting on our behalf so we can live this lifestyle. I had one dilemma the day I determined to do this. I didn't tell Rob. So I have a banking background. I come from corporate banking where I did major corporation takeovers, mergers, and acquisitions. Pretty high-profile job, going 3 weeks a month. But the most important person to me at that time was my wife and 2 daughters. My little girls were growing up and I didn't know who they were. You can't raise a family. My father's a Baptist minister, 55 years next month. He instilled those core beliefs and values in us as kids coming up. That's how I saw me helping Robin raise our kids. You can't do that if you're not home. Little girls need their daddies. They have little problems. No matter how insignificant they may seem to you, they're very real to them. So I told my kids, I just want to be your friend. I don't care what you do. I'm here to help you through life. But you have to be the one that sets the example. Got up early one Monday morning after I just had a pep talk from Mark. I drove over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's when I got my freedom. I went to the bank, straight to the top floor, walked up into Brian's office. He said, why didn't you get on the jet? I said, because I quit.
What?
He said, what does quit mean? I said, look at the dictionary. It says, I don't work for you anymore. He said, who recruited you away from us? He thought I went to another bank. I didn't tell him I was going to Pentecost in a fat lab. Back 11 years ago, I called this the fat patch. I said, well, you remember 7.5 months ago, Robin tried this fat patch thing? He said, yeah. I said, that's what I'm going to do. You kidding? I said, no, really, that's going to be the biggest thing I've ever done. He said, you're in a midlife crisis, you need to go home. You take something I said, I'm going home, but when I hit that elevator there, I'm not coming back. And they started laughing. And them laughing at me, your motivators or your motivators, something welled up in me, and I said when the elevator doors closed, I said, I'll get a job on the trash truck if Mark don't pan out. I will not come back. So you ever done anything when you walk out, I got my truck and said, well, you think about it and say, oh my God, what did I just do? So I called my father, which is my hero. He said, son, where are you going today? I said, I'm coming home. He said, yeah. I said, yes, I just quit my job. He said, son, are you depressed? I said, no, I ain't depressed. There's something I need to talk to you about. You said something in church all my life that really convicted me to make me quit my job. He said, that was what? He said, you said if I didn't provide for home, that I'd be worse than an infidel. I said, you didn't make it real clear what an infidel is, but I sure don't want to be worse than one of them. And he started laughing. I said, look, I just need you to do me a favor. I need you to run to the house and tell Robin I quit my job before I get there. He said, you didn't discuss it with her first? I said, no, if I had, I wouldn't have done it. So all the way home, that hour and a half commute, I'm excited about my mission. I'm excited about gaining my freedom. I'm excited about, I'm in business with Mark. Because I read a book about you. They named you several times in the book. I said, that's the man that's got core beliefs and values. That's what America, that's why we're great. That's why we're a free country. But the closer I got to where I lived, the drier my mouth started to get. And I started thinking about this angel saying in my life how she might react when I told her what I just did. Because we really don't come from money. We had it really rough in the early days. And, you know, I told her, I said, look, I'm going to be your knight in shining armor. I'm going to take you places you ain't never been. I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. I just didn't tell her it was going to take 15 years for that to happen. So I found a group on my stereo, Leonard Skinner. You know, ever heard of him? Sweet Home Alabama. So the closer I get, I found it, I turned it up to get the ambiance just right, so I get my adrenaline flowing. So I have the courage to go home and tell her what I just done. So I drove down the road with Jelly, and I backed my truck in. And left it running. They were still telling me how sweet Alabama was. I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to relocate there in a few minutes. She meet us at the door with the same big old smile she has all these years. And she said, why are you home? We going to go somewhere? I said, no, we ain't going anywhere. I need to tell you something. She said, okay. So I just quit my job. She said, no, you didn't. I said, well, I'm for God, I did. And that's when that wonderful angel sent into my life to help me through life. She became instantaneously demon-possessed. She started calling me things I hadn't heard since I left the locker room when I played ball in school. And she said, what's everybody going to think you quit our dream job? That's something about, and I'm so proud to see you young ladies between 24 and 38 here, that's your market, that you have the vision. But when you don't come from nothing, you finally reach a job paying you $550,000 a year, that's pretty good money. Just to quit it. Everybody thought I'd lost my mind, but she said, what's everybody going to think you quit our dream job? I told her, how much money is everybody sitting over here to help you out? She said, no, we don't need you. It's so good. I don't care what they think. She said, what are you going to do? And I said, you started, I'm going to finish it. She got this simple look on her face. Yeah? And she had a fat patch. As soon as I said that, the worm started going out of her head. She started speaking in an unknown tongue that language for 1,000 years. So that's when I went in and called Mark and said, look, I've done it. We got to roll. He even said, you quit your job? I said, wait a minute, you sold me a veggie for the last 7 months. So Pam and I got started, and we went after this thing, and we had a good first month. But we're laying foundation that pays me right now, 11 years later, if I don't do nothing. So you have to get in and persevere. And it don't matter what nobody says. Stand up and be the leader. Every time you get a position, that is more responsibility. That means we're in competition. You got it. Now you just get a raise. If you had a job and you get a raise, they put on more responsibility. So now you're responsible for a lot of other people. How are you going to carry yourself through your day? People don't do what you say. They do what you do. You want people to respect you? You be the first one to get shot when you go through the door. You don't send people into battle. You lead them into battle. Mm-hmm. That leadership has to resonate from within. And when you say something, the reason I'm chairman of his advisory board, he knows it's real over here. I back up my word with actions, and he can depend on it. When I said I'll bankrupt with him, yeah, to the last penny, because I know next week we'll snap right out of it and we'll be right back. But I want to tell you about the perseverance. Short story. Does anybody here ever like anybody telling you what to do?
No.
No. That's why we're pretty almost all A personalities. Well, I told my girlfriend back when I was 16, I'm coming to see you tonight. And it started snowing. It got knee deep. I said, Daddy, I need the keys to the truck. I want to see my girlfriend. He said, no, this weather you're not. I said, no, you told me to honor my word. When I tell somebody something, I have to do it. He said, not today, you're not. I said, no, you said. He said, well, you want to go so bad? Walk. She lived way on the other side of town. I mean, way 6, 8 miles away. I said, walk. I said, okay. He started. I went and got my army coat, my Carhartts, my snow boots, and off I went. I got into the driveway. I looked back. He had the big window. He's going. He just knew I was going to turn around. And I just said, well, he'll come out, throw me the keys, and I'll get to go. And he's waving, and you coming back? I got 300 yards down the road. I look back again. He's still going. At that point in time, so I will freeze to death before I turn around and go back. And so I persevered against all the elements that were coming toward me. All the wind, my feet got wet. And I couldn't even feel it. And I got up to Main Street in town, downtown Lexington. And I was at the courthouse. I kind of went up against the pole and I said, oh my God, is it worth it? I've got to walk back. But then I got focused on the prize. I was going to go meet the girl I love most. I've been with her for 33 years. I knew her I knew she was going to have some pretty good groceries on the table. So I started focusing on why I was doing it. The last leg of that race. I didn't feel nothing. I stayed focused and I stayed committed to getting there. When I got there, I felt all the warmth and the love and the fire and the warm food. So they got me some groceries. I ate. We enjoyed the afternoon. I was like, oh man, I got to walk back. So was the trip worth it? 2 beautiful daughters 33 years later? Yeah, it's worth it. But all of a sudden her uncle pulls right out in front of her house in a Jeep. He's out playing in the snow. He said, I'll take you home. I said, you will. So we got all the way back to the road in which I live, to the